So I'm working on Mini Bernie, and I wanted to give some tips on the tiny pieces. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There are very tiny pieces in the eyes and in the eyebrows and in his head. And so it will get bulky, but don't lose heart. Keep going, because once you have the edges and everything gets sewn together, it really comes together nicely. So I wanted to give a couple tips on how I sew tiny pieces. So that's the front, and this is the back. And you can see, especially around the eyes, there is quite a bit of bulk, right? Because you have all of the detail of the lenses and the eyebrows and the, sorry, it's upside down. His little frown and his eyeglasses and the mask. And so the first tip I want to give when you're filling out these tiny pieces is give yourself lots. Definitely don't pre-cut the fabric. So if you have to fill out this little piece, use a fabric that's this big when you're sewing. That way, all you're focusing on is the sew line and not, oh, my fabric is so small, I have to hold it. So use, this is about, I don't know, 2 by 2, maybe 2.5 by 1.5, I don't know. But it's tons bigger than the piece. My point is, use a piece of fabric that's substantially larger than the little section you want to sew, because then you can just cut it. The second would be that how to flatten. So the first thing I do when I'm joining is, you will see I take out the papers, especially with pieces that are this small. When you finish the piece, just take out the papers so that the paper isn't adding to the bulk. The second thing that I do is I look in all of this and see if there's any small trimming that I can do, because any little bit of fabric that I can take off can help reduce. And lastly is, so I'm going to try to do this with one hand. So from the back, I will put my iron on it, I don't know, for a good 5 to 7 seconds, okay? And then immediately I will put the tailor's clapper on it. And that, I guess it traps the heat or it rapidly cools it. I'm not sure exactly. Please don't get upset because I don't know the science behind it, but it really helps to flatten the seams. So once that's been under there for a bit, what I do next is, this is actually a wool mat, but you can pin this onto anything. I'm going to bring this here and I'm going to pin it flat. So let me see if I can prop up I don't know if I can prop up my camera here. What I do is I'm going to pin this onto my ironing board so that the pinning gives it, some, ouch, let me bring my pin. So I'm just going to pin down the sides here. And I'm going to add a little bit more heat. And then it'll kind of settle for a bit. And you don't have to do this for a very long time. But it will help to keep your, it will help to flatten it out. Fabric at times tends to have memory, so if you can pin down these smaller sections, it will help to flatten them out. Again, they're small, especially in the detailed parts. Some people, that saying, do you want the good news or bad news? My way of approaching patterns is, do I want to do the hardest part first or the easiest part first? Oop, there's a little. And I tend to like to do the hardest part first, because then that's out of the way. So I'm going to leave his little face pinned like this, and it will give the fabric some memory and help it lay straight until I'm ready to pin, I'm ready to add the other sections. So again, don't give up. Keep going. Give yourselves ample fabric for the small pieces. Don't pre-cut the tiny pieces. That would drive anyone mad. And then trim a little bit, take out the papers, and iron it, cool it, and then pin it down for a bit. And that will decrease the bulking. Okay. yeah, hopefully that's helpful. And this is turning out really great, and I'm excited. I'll keep you guys posted. One more thing I was going to add. If you find that you just can't do these tiny pieces, you just can't fill them in, you're just becoming frustrated for whatever reason, what you can do is you can fill the entire piece with just white. And so take out the detail. You can fill out, so this is the eye, you can fill out this just with white, and all of this just with one color, and all of this just with one color. I mean, in the end, you know, this is the smallest piece and it's his eyes. So it's better to finish the project than to feel like, oh, you know, I couldn't do the tiny pieces, so I'm going to give up on it. And it'll actually turn out fine. If you just make these all, you know, this yellow color, and this is one piece, so you can do all of this white and all of this white, and the center piece you can do with this color to create some separation. So that's another option. You know, if you don't want to do the details or you're finding it too difficult, that's another option. Just put one big piece of paper of white and one big piece of paper, fabric of yellow, and then another one of white. Okay? But give it a go. I think you'll find great success in the end. Remember, just keep going.